Welcome to part 1 of how to build a character. This lesson is on how to build a character, but instead of telling you how to do it, I'll give you an example of how I recently created a character for a play, a persona who is completely different from myself. A few weeks ago, I saw on my phone that a director I'd worked with in the past had called me several times and then sent a couple of text messages. I had missed the call, so I felt a little badly and I called him back. But we had weird connections. I could hear from him, but he couldn't hear me. Now, there had not been great communication between us back in the day, and we'd both walked away with a bad taste, I think. So I'm thinking this is the universe talking to me. Do not get involved. But finally, we connected. He says he's directing a play, and he had an actor drop out after the table reading. And I say, I'm really not interested in doing a play right now. But he asked me, as a favor, to read the script. I immediately think, no, I don't want to read it. But he says, let me send it to you. He says, if I do it, the cast will be 4 black men and me. So I go, oh, no, I'm not going to play some racist jerk. I don't play racist, child molesters, women victimizers, or animal abusers. I just won't do it. What's the point? There's too much of that garbage writing all over TV and movies. I don't need to support it. And of course, there's no real dough in this, but I say I'll read the play, and I do. First read. It is not at all what I thought. The character is quite interesting. Not a lot there, but as Spencer Tracy said, what's there is churse. He's not the biggest part in the play, but he's the most pivotal part in the play. The second reading, I like the writing. It's got a musical, almost jazz quality to it, even though it has nothing to do with jazz. I don't mean to imply that, but the way it's constructed is almost like music. And I read it a third time and I go, this is a good play. It says something that in my knowledge has never been touched on before. And after the fourth reading, I like it, and I tell him I'll do it. And this is why. There's not a lot to this character, whose name is Harrison. But that's a plus to me. It allows me, and I suggest you think this way too, tremendous room to create. And that is, after all, the fun part. No matter what I come up with, nobody can say, oh, no, that's not right, that's wrong. Oh, yeah? You show me where it's wrong in the script. Harrison will be the guy I see him as, the man that I create. So I tell the director, yes, I'll do the play, which is titled Hambone. And I'm going to tell you here how I built this character, this guy, and you can tell me what you think. So this is what I'm told in the script. As I said, his name is Harrison. He's from Charleston, South Carolina. He's a white Southern railroad man who had an affair with a black lover 48 years earlier, and that produced a son whom he loved, but who ran away from home at 6 years old after his mother died. He came to my house, and I closed the door on the boy 42 years ago. And that's when he ran away. And now I've come seeking him in this play, and I find him. So that's me. That's the story. Very simple. The script also tells me that I've lost a kidney from diabetes, and the other one is failing. Now, to me, the actor, Harrison, is clearly carrying guilt and shame. He's left Charleston to come and find this boy whom he hasn't seen in 42 years. And though the script doesn't specifically say guilt or shame, I know. And I come to find my son and leave him everything I have. I say in the dialogue that I'm dying. Okay, so questions to ask are, who am I? What do I want? How do I go about getting it? What are my obstacles? Do I get it or no? Those are the 5 questions we always ask ourselves as soon as we read the script about our character. Harrison, that's all I'm told. That's the name the author's given me, but that's not who I am. Where am I coming from? Charleston, South Carolina. Before that, Savannah, Georgia, where my son, now 48, was born. Now for me, this is interesting. I could be anybody. And for some reason, the image of my father flashed in my head the last time I saw him as an older, capable man. Oh, this is cool. I'll use that. I'll make it an homage to my father. I'll take on my father's physical image as Harrison. My dad was a handsome Southern gentleman, always dignified, but with that secret alcoholic curse ever in his pocket. And then I see Harrison as a young white man in love with a black girl in 1941. I've been given that in the script. So the era is World War II. Forbidden love in the racist South. Deadly. So I kind of run down my dad's history from World War II to 1988 when the play is set. And I combine that with the railroad thing. So I say Harrison's come back from flight training in Texas during the war to Savannah, Georgia, the generational home of his family. Oh, so now we have a very specific Southern accent. I, Harrison, stop over in New Orleans on leave from flight training, and I meet and fall in love with a Creole girl from Lake Pontchartrain named Ameline Boudreaux. 6 months later, she comes to Savannah to tell me that she's pregnant. I set her up in a little house. We have to be very careful that we're not seen and that nobody knows about us. It's an illicit and dangerous union, and I love her deeply. She gives birth. My son is born, and I am there. But she dies 6 years later. And in that time, I've married my white boss's daughter, partially for advancement. She does not know my secret. I say in the dialogue that I'm a railroad man. So let's say I started out as a conductor after the war. And over the years, I became a yard manager, division superintendent, director of operations, business and money side, to vice president of finance, to retired executive. Okay, for a career? So that's 40 years there. So that part's taken care of. I've got the who I am. I've got a history. I've got that guy who's had that journey. So I take that on myself, and that's my history. Okay, now me, Madison, the actor, I write it down. Nothing elaborate, just notes. I don't even really like writing, to tell you the truth. I start reflecting on it, and I start imagining Harrison. But I'm also my father. I've got that image. And then comes the Georgia accent and the physical problems the writer has given me. I have to slide into that skin as well. Diabetes, loss of a kidney, slow failure of the remaining kidney. What does that mean? What are those symptoms? Physical characteristics. What pain am I feeling physically? How does that cause me to carry myself? So you see, often when you have a smaller part, it's a gift. Sort of the theory of less being more. There's so little there that you can build a lot. Or maybe, as I was always told, there are no small parts, only small actors. You might have to cook that idea for a while to get what it's really saying, but I got it. So hang on for the next video. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something useful that you can use in your work or in your own life. Please like and subscribe and leave comments below. And if there's a video you'd like to see on a particular acting subject, let me know and I'll address that ASAP. Until we're together, I wish you health, happiness, and total self-confidence. Remember, you are the artist. Stay tuned for the next video.